We are live from Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. And everybody, listen up. Perk up. Yeah, you're going to love that. You are going to love this interview. Byron Smith joining us, a man who I feel like we can bring him on the screen. I think you should do the introduction. You climbed the 7 largest summits in the world, Mount Everest twice. He's now doing motivational speaking, executive coaching. It's one hell of a story, man. And I'm already loving having you down here. So thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Rod. Thanks for the opportunity.
How would you introduce yourself in an elevator speech? I do this.
Well, I'm Zach's dad, is how I'd introduce
congratulations.
myself. I'm an interesting individual that's a goal setter, believes in leadership and commitment, leadership from within, exploring culture, people, and geography. So I've got a lot of stories in all different areas, from diving all over the world. I got 2,500 dives, to running out of air at 220 feet in Truck Lagoon.
Does anything scare you?
Oh, yes. Mortality. I had a brain aneurysm 12 years ago, and I shouldn't be here. So I'm very fortunate to still be alive and still be able to be around family and friends and to be with my lovely lady.
Yolanta.
Yolanta, yes.
Right. What nationality? Polish. Gotcha. Okay. Well, mutual friend Jack Fulton lined this interview up, and Jack's probably watching right now. We love you, Jack, and I appreciate it. That guy climbed the 7?
Yeah, the highest peaks in every continent. 7 summits.
So there's a story there.
Well, there's a story. I was 16 years old, and I finished reading Sir Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay's account of climbing Mount Everest, May 29th, 1953. And I put the book down, and I sort of closed my eyes, and I said, one day I'll climb Mount Everest. I probably didn't realize what I was saying at the time, but my whole life had been goal setting. I mean, I wanted to be an NHL player, so I was playing hockey. And
he's from Flin Flon. Yeah.
No, I'm from Winnipeg.
I thought you said you're from...
My mom and dad are from Flin Flon.
Sorry, okay.
And my older brother and sister.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Continue, sorry.
Okay. No worries. And left Winnipeg when I was 3 years old. I hitchhiked to Calgary. All by myself. No. The family moved, and we got heavy into the outdoors, always going to the mountains and being acquainted with that. Bragg Creek area.
This would be the place to do it, yeah.
Absolutely. And never had a fear of heights. I was on top of buildings, houses, trying to get the swing to actually go all the way over, those kind of things. But I'm very conscious of not compromising safety. So a lot of people may think that I'm a risk taker, but I'm a calculated risk taker. No different than in business. You learn your craft, you understand it 360 degrees so that you can work through any problems with enough training, practice, drill, and rehearse. You should be able to overcome most adversity. Other than on a mountain, it's weather or an injury that's going to be something you cannot control necessarily. So at a young age, wanting to get up high on mountains, I used to lie on the grass looking up into the clouds, and I'd see these little black specks moving around up there, which were the birds, and I always wanted to have their perspective of looking down. And one of the greatest gifts that I feel that I can have is being on top of a mountain. It doesn't matter how high it is, but being able to have the vista down below me and looking around 360 degrees. It's just a magnificent, wonderful feeling that I get in my heart. Very warm feeling. So after many years, I was 33 when I made the plunge to get into high altitude climbing. So a good friend of mine, the first Canadian to climb Everest, Laurie Skreslet, we climbed Aconcagua together back in 1996 or 97. I can't even remember anymore. And after I climbed Aconcagua, I had no problems with altitude sickness at all. I said, I'm going to go do the big one now. And I know Laurie sort of cautioned me on that. He said, well, let's go do Broad Peak first. And I said, no, I'm going to do it and take the time, the 3 months away from home. I'm going to go do Everest. So in 1998, I was on a British expedition, and Himalayan kingdoms and got over there. It was a commercial British expedition.
Can I pause you for a second? These Rocky Mountains out in Banff that we just drop our jaws at, compare it to Mount Everest. Is this like molehills compared to that?
Well, so the average height of our Canadian Rockies is around 9,000 feet.
Okay.
And when you're in the Himalayas, you're looking at 20,000-foot peaks, and you just feel so minuscule, and the magnificence that's being spread out in front of you. It is jaw-dropping, and it's mesmerizing to feel that you're in amongst all this splendor. And
so I apologize. So it's more than twice the height of those. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Continue, please. You get over there, and
so get over there, and it's a commercial expedition. We only have enough oxygen for one summit push, and those that were responsible in 1998 to bring the rope up to the south summit, basically the second highest point on Earth, to span over Knife Edge Ridge, which is 10,000-foot drop on the right-hand side, 8,000-foot drop on the left-hand side. So there's very little room for error. One slip, one fall, you're dead. So you need rope. You anchor it across the ridge so that and you clip into it so that if you slip or fall, you'll only fall the slack of the rope and not plummet to your death. And there was no rope that was brought. So there was a misjudgment by some of the expedition leaders at that time. And it's not like pulling over to the side of the road when you're driving down a highway and you get a flat tire and you can just stop and get a spare tire. We couldn't run back down and get more rope physically. It just wouldn't work. And we only had enough oxygen for one summit push. So ultimately, I didn't summit that day. I was 270 vertical feet short, less than an hour from the top, but I'd climbed, 97.2 or 97.8% of my goal. And it was very, very difficult to make that rational business decision in my head. Do I go? Do I not go? I knew I could go do it, but one slip, my son would never see me again. So to make a correction, I've only climbed Mount Everest once.
Okay.
May 21st, 2000.
Only once he's climbed Mount Everest.
But in 1998, I was 270 vertical feet short. And
I see.
So I went back home and being short of the summit, and I started the groundwork to lead and organize my own expedition. And I got CBC involved, so it ended up being the most televised expedition in the history of Everest up to that point. So every day for 3 months, I was broadcasting live to CBC, back to Canada, back to the Caribbean, back to the US, and I was doing it on the NBC Today show about 9 times as well. And then it was rebroadcast in Canada, so 9 times a day I was on TV, my 4-minute slot, so to speak, wrapped around expedition sponsor commercials and so on. So it was quite an affair. I mean, I had my 15 minutes of fame after I ended up summiting Everest on May 21st, 2000. But there was a lot of situations that occurred on that mountain. On the 6th of May, when we were going for the summit, we had 100-mile-an-hour winds at Camp 4. Tents were lifting up. You had to push off with your foot against the side of the tent to keep it from caving in. And we had to get back down and wait out the storm. And during that time period, a group of 8 Russians were up on the mountain trying to push through the storm, and an avalanche hit their tents, buried the tents, and if it wasn't for one of the climbers having a knife on a lanyard around his neck in order to cut through his sleeping bag, cut through the tent, therefore he was able to save the rest of his teammates from suffocation. So, during the course of goal setting, and, some people compromise their safety, maybe trying to push the limits in order to achieve their goal. And these kind of things happen, where we rested at base camp and then further down valley to absorb more oxygen in our blood. And because you're full of red blood cells, so from a physiological standpoint, you're acclimatizing and creating more red blood cells, and which carries more oxygen around your system, which gives you the ability to go higher and function.
Byron Smith is with us, mountain climber, diver, executive coach, motivational speaker. Now, you have to say something. I've only climbed one mountain in my day, and it was a piddly one, Camelback Mountain in Scottsdale, Arizona. I assume you've been there?
I've done the same mountain a few times.
And when I was going there, people were saying to me, it's dangerous. Some said it's not that dangerous. Some said it's treacherous. Some said it's not. And I found that it's like getting sober. And our good friend Jack Fulton, our mutual friend, he's sober in recovery like me. I said, it's the same thing. People are going to tell you getting sober is treacherous or it's not treacherous, it's dangerous. But I got halfway up that mountain in Scottsdale, and I'm like, if I slip, I could die. Yeah. Right? You take the wrong step, and it could be fatal, and that the recovery world is like that. So I kind of get it, and I see how with your motivational speaking and your coaching, how you've related it to climbing mountains, right?
Yeah, I try to draw the parallels between being successful in your personal and your business life and how it's really the same template. And I use Mount Everest to draw those parallels.
What a man. So what's keeping you busy now? You're diving too. You must have some diving stories.
Oh, yeah, I've got some tremendous diving stories. I'm 220 feet down on a shipwreck in Micronesia, Truk Lagoon, very famous lagoon with 60 shipwrecks. And I'm running, I can't breathe. And so I'm looking at my regulator and trying to figure it out. I'm looking at my dive computer, which is air integrated, so it's electronic integrated. I also have a secondary pressure gauge to see what's going on, how much air in the tank. And I can't breathe, so I go to my secondary regulator, and I'm drawing in really hard, and I'm about 210 feet, which is way deeper than recreational diving should be on air, but I'm used to deep diving. And so it's just me and a dive guide who's showing me around all these wrecks. And I go to him that my air's cut off. And he comes over and he just cracks my valve, and I'm able to breathe again. So what we're used to for valet diving, let's say in Mexico or Hawaii or wherever, where they're
run-of-the-mill tourists.
They're turning your tanks on, and when you jump in, and I should have known it because 3 other times I jumped into the water in Micronesia, and the tank wasn't turned on. So anyways, I was able to breathe and finish out the dive on that one. And then there was another one there on another time. So I've spent 2 months underwater in Micronesia diving. And I was in this back of a ship in the steering mechanism portion of the ship. And there was 4 other divers with me, and I'm the last one going in. And there's all the silt that's been built up over the years. And so you have to learn how to frog kick very gently so you don't disturb the silt on the ceiling and the walls and the floor and so on. And there was a gentleman that was disturbing a lot of that. And so I couldn't see to get out. And I was the last one in the room. And so I had to calm myself down, of course, because I'm, 180 feet under the water. And I know that, the air's got to last while I'm trying to get around the room and find out that 3x3 hole that we came into to get out of. And finally I found it and I got out. But these are the things that build up your knowledge, your toolbox of knowledge for the next time.
I almost strangled a guy. Hey, Jeff Pedersen in Winnipeg, great interview. Just wow. Cynthia in Pittsburgh. Byron is amazing, so inspirational. I would love to meet him. Such an amazing human. I was just in the Florida Keys, and I'm supposed to jump off the back of the boat, and they said, don't touch the ocean floor. That's their home. You could get stung or bit. And I'm like, well, how am I supposed to? I figured it out, right? Gingerly.
Yeah.
As you say, don't kick up too much stuff. So you're doing executive coaching and motivational speaking. If people, they just said they'd like to meet you to speak to a group, or if they need an executive coach, what would be the way to go about it?
Well, they can reach me at byronsmith.com or on my cell phone.
Yeah. Simple, bold, and all that contact info is there.
Yes,
right?
It is.
So, but with the groups and the motivational speaking, because I do a lot of that too, COVID kind of knocked the crap out of that, but it's coming back.
Yes.
So what's your specialty there? Youth, businesses?
All over.
Everything?
Fortune 500 could be students. It could be small business. I like one-on-one executive coaching. I feel that I'm really drawn to helping people discover themselves and to find the answers out themselves. And so my role as an executive coach is to pull out from them the answers. It's not to give them the answers, because nobody likes to hear what they should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
I never did.
Who does, right? Well, they're telling us we got 90 seconds. Would you identify as a car guy?
No, I think I would identify more as a father, a good friend, a brother, son, a trusted, loyal person to work with and around.
I say that because he's owned 2 car dealerships.
2 car dealerships.
Yeah.
Yes, but I was a business guy within that. I wasn't really a car geek, even though I've had lots of vehicles and so on. I'd like to say I'm an adventure explorer at heart. I like to discover. I like to learn. I'm a lifelong learner, and I like to help others to achieve that as well.
Good for you. Yeah, but that's where the real fun is.
It is.
All around the world. Byron, thanks for coming down here.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, Rod. Thank you.
ByronSmith.com. What a day. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching the RP Show on YouTube. And don't forget, we're live daily on YouTube from noon to 2 Eastern. If you like what you see, hit subscribe. And if you like the program, check around for other segments of The Rod Pedersen Show here on YouTube.